Alright folks, welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I'm now going to give you my round 1 of 2020 in the AFL first match review, which was between Richmond and Carlton at the MCG. And of course the significant thing about this game, and indeed this year, is obviously the coronavirus outbreak, which has led to games in the AFL being played behind closed doors. At the end of my review of the game, I'd like to hear your comments about if you did watch the game, or if you're watching the highlights, or even if you watch this review and then go ahead and watch the highlights. Let me know what you thought about it. Is it something that you want to see happening purely because you want to watch footy, or do you want it to just stop? You just did not like it, or for whatever your opinion on it was. Obviously there'll be no fans in attendance at the MCG. Bear in mind this is a stadium that can proudly hold well over 100,000 people. To have nobody there was really unnerving. As somebody even just watching it on the TV, you know, nobody there. When the ball went through for a goal, it's bouncing off the empty seats. You don't think of these things. When the ball goes through for a goal or out of play, usually somebody's there to stop it, catch it and throw it straight back in. You were waiting for the balls to get fucking picked out of the seats and for the game to get restarted. They did have a numerous amount of balls placed all around the boundary line, just on the outside of it, for that, but you could certainly tell that there's something just wasn't right, you know. So anyway, we'll get into the first quarter. Richmond Carlton, as I said, straight away, boom, I think 4 or 5 goals from Richmond unanswered from Carlton before they got their first one. And I'll tell you something, the first half in general from Richmond was explosive. I'll just rattle out the scorers quickly. The first goal scorer of the first round of 2020 was Shane Edwards. Congratulations to him. Castagna got 2, Rewalt got 2, Lambert got 1, and Shai Bolton, who was magnificent I thought today. Connors for Carlton and Levi Caspel also had a fantastic game I thought, in terms of Carlton's team. I just wrote some notes. Rewalt and it was incredible in the first quarter really. Tigers closing down very quickly. They were out of possession, they were very good. In possession, they were very slick. They were doing things really well. Everything that they were trying to do was just happening. And it was just like watching them from the end of last season. Obviously in the grand final, absolutely destroyed the Giants. And this is how they literally came out straight away, all guns blazing in the first quarter, and pretty much blew Carlton away. That was pretty much the tail of the first half. I thought Rewalt was really good. He made himself big up there, he took a few marks, he scored a couple of goals, but his overall play was good. Obviously, you know, people like Dusty and that, they're so reliable, you know that he's going to have an impact in and around it, but certainly Richmond proven absolutely dominant in the first quarter. It finished 44-13, 7-2, 2-1, and there was an injury to Cruz, who he went up for a mark or something, or something like that there, if I can remember rightly, and he's landed and his ankles kind of give way, and he's injured at his ankle or his foot, they've said. I'm not too sure exactly what the injury is, but he's certainly got either an ankle or a foot injury after that. It did look like a sore one, so he's a concern going forward, unfortunately. Pretty disappointing first quarter, first game of the year, boom, injury. So as I said, 44-13, first quarter, Tides were fantastic. Second quarter, thought they were magnificent again. As I said, the first half was just an absolute dominance from Richmond. The way they've been playing footy is just a joy to behold. It really is special. See, when they're in full flow and everything they try, just everything that they want to do is actually happening. Do you know what? I think you need to give them credit for the way they perform out of possession. They hunt in packs, they close you down, they force mistakes, they just put so much pressure on you. That's where I think good sports teams show their quality, is what they can do out of possession. It's okay, a lot of teams can play well when they've got the footy, they can play nice stuff. It's how they can respond to being closed down quickly that you find the true character and bravery of individual players. and the Tigers put you under a hell of a lot of pressure. So this is where, if this season does continually go ahead, this is where Tigers will win a lot of games. Even maybe if they go into games and it's closer fought than this, this is where games will be won by the Tigers, as they're off the ball, out of possession, pressure, as I said, hunting in packs, playing for each other in possession, in packs, constantly moving, wanting the ball. I can't give them enough credit for what they do. In that first half, they were spectacular. We'll run through the goals. Rioli with one, Bolton with one, Rewalt with one, Dusty with one, and for Carlton it was Silvani. Newman got and I don't know if he's hyperextended his elbow, he's hurt it, but he was okay. Mitch McGovern was a concern. He ended up okay, we'll go through that there. It was a bit of an arm wrestle to begin with. Oh shit, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I'm okay, sorry, I thought I'd lost track of myself there. It was a bit of an arm wrestle to start with. The Blues looked okay, but then obviously, as I said, the Tigers just literally came out and just upped the ante and just fucking blitzed them in this half. I've put down, Dusty was fantastic, bits of individual brilliance. I think he'd set up Rewalt's goal. It was just the composure. It's the composure that you're so used to seeing from Dusty, the upper body strength. He sees things that other people don't see and he can execute them with fantastic ability. He's an absolute pleasure to watch. Even when he takes a mark, he doesn't waste it to set it up. He doesn't waste time trying to set it up. He just drops the shoulder and bang, there you go, goal, and away you crack on again. But first half finished 69-23 to Richmond, 11-3, 3-5, absolutely dominant display from Richmond. Second half then, and actually it did turn into a lot more of a contest. Thought Carlton were probably the better team in the second half. The problem Carlton face is they're not overly as ruthless as the likes of the top teams when they do get the opportunity. They were quite clinical in this half, having said that. They were the more clinical team over the piece in the second half. But if they could do what they did in the second half, when they have got possession, when they are in the forward 50, make that pressure count, put points on the board, score goals. A lot of it, the reason why they weren't scoring goals in the first half was down to the unbelievable defensive ability of Richmond. They're so composed at the back, handballing their way out of trouble. It's fantastic to watch. But second half, Carlton were a different side. Thought they were really, really strong. Started to play with their heads up, a little more bravery, chest puffed out. I think this is sort of when you've sort of realised the importance of an informed Patrick Cripps. He was an absolute leader in the second half. I wouldn't say he never played well in the first half now, but the second half he grew into it, and particularly the fourth quarter. We'll get to the fourth quarter's goal scorers as well, but I thought that is where this is why people tipped this young man for the Brownlow last year. If he can carry on this year playing like that there, he's going to be very, very, very hard to stop for the Brownlow. He's already somebody that I think umpires will have their eyes on. He plays in the midfield, so they're going to be seeing a lot more of him. But if he can, you know, perform like that, the chest puffed out, head up, just dictating play, stringing passages of play together, he was magnificent. So, goal scorers for Richmond anyway, Castagna with one, Rioli with one, and Prestia with one. I love Prestia, I think he's a fantastic player. Rioli was good today, Castagna was good. But the best player in the third quarter was young Jack Martin, who scored 4 goals for Carlton. And Cunningham getting a second of the game. He got one in the third quarter as well. I've just put good pressure from Carlton, capitalising on the possession in the forward 50, which was exactly what I've just mentioned. And obviously, Jack Martin was the star man of this quarter. Brilliant for him. I loved his sort of confidence. Didn't let the occasion faze him. Maybe the fact that there was no crowd there settled the nerves a little bit. I don't know what he would have been like with maybe 70,000-80,000 in the ground. Would he have maybe fluffed his lines a little bit? But I'm delighted for him. I love seeing young players make their mark, especially given the jersey and stuff. Just to go and show what you can do. Don't be afraid, don't let the occasion get to you. Just play your game and be brave and confident, and he did that. He looked very, very assured in the forward 50 for Carlton in that third quarter. I really enjoyed his performance. So going into three-quarter time, 89-55, the gap was closing. They did score 5 goals to Richmond's 3, so they've outscored them in that quarter. It was 89-55, 14-5, 8-7 in favour of Richmond, obviously. Into the fourth quarter then, and again, I thought Carlton were the better side. Casbolt got one, Mitch McGovern got one. He was good today, Mitch McGovern as well. Nunes with a great goal. It came kind of just over the 50-metre mark. He snapped it from the boundary line nearly over his shoulder. Great composed finish. Very, very difficult kick. Fantastic technique from him. What a great goal. Silvani again for another. He was great today as well. Really, really good. The way he sold the candy and just found that yard of space and just put it home so assured, so confidently. A really good goal. Four goals Carlton scored in the fourth quarter as well to Richmond's 2. So both quarters of the second half, Carlton's outscored Richmond in terms of goals, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately, for Carlton to win them the game. However, they can take a lot away from that game. The fact that they've grew into it, they've showed confidence, they decided to change their tactic a little bit, but they can certainly take a lot more positive, I think, from their second half display going into the next games coming up. Than what don't concentrate in the first half too much. That is Richmond, and that's what they do. The fact that Teague's been able to sort of assess kind of where it was going wrong for them, and actually at times they look like Richmond, the way they were handballing it to each other, playing lovely intricate stuff, really moving well for each other. Some of the young players are very, very good at Carlton. I'm quite excited about watching them this year, I must admit, I really am. Anyway, for Richmond, Bolton got one. He was good as well. Rioli with a lovely goal. He's charged all the way through from about the centre square nearly, all the way through, but nobody can get near him. He's like a fucking lightning bolt. Sonic the bloody Hedgehog when he gets into his full speed, and a few bounces, boom, and just knocked it straight through the sticks for a lovely composed goal. Great individual goal. They Riolis, as the commentator said, they seem to just have it, don't they? They just seem to have that magic. In the end, it finished 105-81 to Richmond. They did deserve the win, I think, but I really did enjoy Carlton's second half display, and don't be so disheartened. I thought they showed true grit and fight. Maybe Richmond switched off a little bit because they were so dominant in the first half. They've like kind of let a bit of complacency, kind of slide into their second half performance. But I'm sure, like Carlton analysing their first half, Richmond will analyse the second half, and they'll be better for it in the next game. We'll go through a little bit of stats. We'll start off with a couple of players. Martin, obviously, I want to mention because he's got 4 goals. Just his individual stats, and Cripps, who I thought was Carlton's best player in the second half. Probably the best player in the whole game, to be fair, but we'll rattle it out anyway. Cripps, 3 marks, 15 kicks, 16 handballs, 31 disposals, 2 tackles, obviously no goals and behinds for him. Martin, 6 marks, 11 kicks, 6 handballs, 17 disposals, 1 tackle, 4 goals and a behind. Magnificent from him. On to Richmond then. Bolton, 11 kicks, 2 handballs, 13 disposals, 6 marks, 2 tackles, 3 goals, 1 behind. As I said, he was brilliant today. And Rioli, 8 kicks, 4 handballs, 12 disposals, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 3 goals, no behinds. Prestia, 11 kicks, 14 handballs, 25 disposals. Absolutely brilliant performance from him. He is a player I really enjoyed watching for Richmond last year, but obviously he kind of doesn't get just as much praise as some of the more lauded players that they've got, such as Dustin Martin. But I think Prestia is really, really good indeed. As I said, 25 disposals, 2 marks for him, 5 tackles and a goal, and Dustin Martin, he's just a complete player, isn't he? 12 kicks, 12 handballs, 24 disposals, 3 marks, 4 tackles, 1 goal and a behind. But what you've got to remember, and when I'm reading these stats out, when you say Patrick Cripps 31 disposals, Prestia 25 disposals, Martin 24 disposals, is the fact that these games weren't actually obviously 20-minute quarters, which is incredible to think the sort of level they played at there today. Bearing in mind they never had the crowd pushing them on that little bit more as well. What would those stats have been today if we had full quarters that we usually have? Both teams would have probably went on to get over a century of points. I still think Richmond would have done enough today to have the convincing win. They did win by 24 points. My player of the match today, best on ground. I'm just going to do it just because he's got 4 goals and I want to give credit to him and give him confidence. Jack Martin at Carlton. But obviously in terms of disposals and overall play, you can't rule out Cripps, Martin or Prestia as well. But 24-point win. I did put on my tipping that it would be a 25-point margin win from Richmond. I did predict a Richmond win, so congratulations to Richmond. They've got round 1 up and running really well. Thanks very much for watching the roundup. Stay tuned for more roundups this weekend and other videos as well. Don't forget to subscribe everyone, file the notifications bell on, and check out all of our social media platforms in the description section below, and Patreon and our Get Us to Oz fundraiser that we're doing is down there as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.